I'm John Laurito, and welcome to today's episode of Tomorrow's Leader, where we dive deep on all things leader related to leading yourself and, of course, leading others. Before we get into it, I wanted to ask each of you, my faithful listeners, and those of you who have been so good at giving me feedback and suggestions, please go on to your podcast source, whether it's iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Google, whatever it is, and go on there and give a review. I would greatly appreciate your feedback. Of course, I'm looking for 5 stars and your feedback, your comments. That helps greatly if you do, of course, like this show, which I'm hoping that you do. So I wanted to share with you some thoughts around a topic that I'm going to cover a number of episodes around this topic because it's such an important topic, and I think it's one of those areas that leaders struggle with so much, and that has to do with leadership versatility and overall styles of leadership. And here's a really interesting fact. Believe it or not, 54% of leaders, this is a documented fact, 54% of leaders only use one style of leadership with every single person in every situation, every situation that they come across, one style of leadership. Only 1% of leaders, truly 1% of leaders, know how to use more than 4 or more styles of leadership. So it is an incredibly important and effective leadership skill set. And I'm going to break this up into a few different parts. Today, I want to talk about leadership styles as it results to a follower's readiness and basically where they are in their whole journey, which I'm going to take you through a couple of examples, and how your leadership style can change or should change to increase the likelihood of success of that person that you're leading. Now, I don't care if this is your kid, you're a parent, you're a teacher, you're a coach, you're a business leader, CEO. This is effective and works incredibly well. And again, it's one of those things that most leaders really struggle with. So I'll give you a quick example. A couple of stories. One is, I remember being at the ocean with my daughter, Sky, and this was a number of years ago, and it was when she was a little kid, and we were getting ready. She wanted to go into the ocean, and she was super excited, and she had been kind of, playing in it and stuff, but she really wanted to learn. She wanted to get in there, and she wanted to surf the waves and stuff like that and body surf. And, she was really excited. And she was what I call, and what we call in leadership circles, an enthusiastic beginner. Okay, she didn't have the skill to do what she wanted to do, which was to really master, riding the waves and stuff like that, the things that she saw people doing that were a lot of fun. But she definitely had a high amount of motivation, right? She was really excited about it. So for me as a leader, it was kind of pretty easy to get her started because she was already there. Like, she wanted to jump in the water. She just wanted me to come with her. She was a classic enthusiastic beginner. Now, leadership style at that point is really just direct them, right? Okay, Sky, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in, and I'm teaching her the actual, here's how you actually surf a wave. You got to wait for the wave. You're looking for this. And when it's, a few feet behind you, you're going to start swimming. You're going to kick your feet out, throw your chest out, and ride the wave and this and that. So again, relatively easy in that enthusiastic beginner. But we're out there, and this huge monster wave comes and out of nowhere, and wipes us out big time. Now, I saw it coming, so I grabbed her to hold on to her. But this thing was a monster, and it sent me flying. It sent her flying. I lost literally for a second there. She was tumbling around. My glasses went flying. I never found those things again. And we were both knocked to the ground. And I will tell you, as an adult, it was not fun. It was painful. As a kid, it just totally devastated her. So she, needless to say, she entered really quickly the next phase of leadership, of the learning curve and the readiness curve. And that was, she really quickly became what we call a disillusioned learner, which means that you begin any new task and it's exciting, it's fun, right? You're totally enthused about doing it. And then you start to do it, and whether you have a failure or a setback, or you just in general realize how hard it is to do this task, it's not as easy as you originally thought, all of a sudden your motivation sinks like a rock, and you don't want to do it anymore. And in her case, yeah, she didn't want to do it anymore. She didn't want to go in the water anymore. Not only did she not want to learn her body surf, she didn't want to go in the water anymore. And I understand it, because most people, when they're faced with that situation, I don't care if it's you fell off a horse or a bike, or you got, playing ball and you got hit in the head with the ball, or you're riding wave and you get knocked down. All of a sudden, that fun task, that thing that was really exciting at one point, really quickly becomes like disastrous, and you don't even want to touch it. You don't want to do anything. It's just like your nemesis. So she was in this disillusioned learner phase. Now, I didn't do a great job at that point of helping her get through that, because it was a long period of time before she go into the water. I mean, it was probably a couple of years before she felt comfortable getting back in. So let me contrast that with another story. And I'll tell you how somebody helped me get through that disillusioned learner phase really quickly, and how you as a leader can learn from this, because there's two things that you can do when you see your people in that disillusioned phase. So another water story. I was learning to water ski. And for those of you who know how to water ski or do it, you know it's a ton of fun. And it absolutely is. I wanted to learn how to do it. So I had a friend who had a boat, and we went out there. And I'm watching people do it. It looks easy. I'm like absolutely classic enthusiastic beginner. I'm like, okay, just give me the stuff. Let me go. They gave me a little bit of direction. Okay, here's what you got to do. I'm like, half listening. It's my turn to get into the water. I'm behind the boat. I'm submerged. I got my life jacket. I got my skis pointing up, just like they told me. I'm holding onto the handle and give the thumbs up or whatever sign. And then the boat takes off. And like, I just go dragging immediately through the water. I don't even let go. I go dragging through the water. I'm like, like submerged underwater. And I'm getting dragged. I finally let go, and I'm like, okay, well, that wasn't fun. And I'm like, all right, well, let me try it again, whatever. So I get back, they circle. And if the boat's got to come back around. It's not like this, hey, 10 seconds later, you're back trying, attempt number 2. It takes a few minutes to circle back around, get you in position. You get the skis back on because they fly off. Again, I'm sitting there, my skis pointed up. The driver of the boat floors it. And again, I just like collapse into the water. I get dragged through the water. I'm like, wow, this sucks. And now I'm getting really frustrated. I'm like, I don't get it. They're trying to explain it to me and this and that. And needless to say, I must have tried another 10 times. And at this point, it's at least an hour, and there are other people on the boat that want to do it, and I still can't get up after 10 times. I'm like, now all this stuff's going through my head. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't even want to do this anymore. I mean, this is stupid. Who wants to water ski? Water skiing sucks. Like, I don't ever want to do this again. And my whole mentality is changing. And I just told my friend who was driving the boat, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I don't even want to do it anymore. Honestly. And he's like, no, give it another try. I'm like, no, honestly, I don't want to do it anymore. I truly don't even want to do it. I did. I don't now. It doesn't look like it's much fun as I thought it was going to be, blah, blah, blah. Well, my friend could have left it at that. Now, if he did, I guarantee I probably would never, to this day, after, a couple decades later, would never have water skied. I would have never had any reason to go back because I had a terrible experience. I was a disillusioned learner. I quit. I never got past it, and no reason to ever go back to it. But my friend did something different. He refused to let me quit. I mean, literally, he got in my face. He's like, I don't care if we're out here for the rest of the afternoon. I don't care if it takes us 20 or 30 or 40 more times. He said, we're doing it. We are not going back in. It's my boat, my rules. You get back up there, and we are just going to keep going until you get it. I mean, he legitimately would not let me stop. Well, all right. Okay, fine, man. If this is how you want to do it, all right, whatever. And he said, but here's the deal. I want you to do something different. And he gave me a little different instructions. Talk to me in a different way about it. He's like, okay, when you're doing it, you're kind of collapsing. You got to keep your body stiff. You got to keep your legs, your knees bent, but you got to kind of push through the water. You got strong legs, push them through the water. Don't just collapse when the boat pulls you. And I'm like, all right. So I kind of had that in my mind. Well, sure enough, the next time he pulls me, I get up and I'm up and I'm up. I'm like water skiing. I'm doing whatever I see everybody else doing. That's so much fun. I'm water skiing. I'm doing it. It's awesome. And it is fun. For those of you who've never done it, it is a blast. Honestly, get out there and try it. And call me if you want some, some help getting through that phase if you're falling too much. But I will tell you, it was a blast. And I was actually up. I didn't fall for 5 minutes. I'm zooming around and stuff. And I wanted to do it again and again and again and again. Now, that leadership that my friend provided at that point changed the whole course of everything, right? I would have given up the sport, never done it. Now, it's not like I do it all the time by any means. I'd love to, but I quickly went in from disillusioned learner to what I call capable but cautious performer. I was doing it. Now, I'm not a master at it, but once I got up that first time, I'm like, I'm up. All right. Okay, now it's tense. I'm thinking through what I'm doing and stuff like that. But my motivation went right up, really up high. My skills went up because now I'm learning it, right? So my motivation and my skills go up, and I want to do it more and more. And it's that critical juncture between disillusioned learner and capable and cautious performer that leaders struggle with, but it is the most important phase. It's the most important transition. If you can get your people through that, the rest is actually easy, because once you're a capable and cautious performer and you keep doing it because you want to do it, you're going to keep wanting to do it. You keep doing it, your skills build, your competence, your confidence goes up dramatically. You then become a self-reliant achiever. And that's kind of the almost pinnacle of this, is one more, but a self-reliant achiever, which is really where you are now in a position of being able to do it without even thinking about it. So I at that point, if I kept doing it and kept practicing it, I wouldn't even have to think about it. I'd just get up there, do it. I could ski probably with one arm or, on one ski or whatever. That's what a self-reliant achiever looks like. And then when you get your people to self-reliant achiever, their confidence is so high and their competence is so high, they're in a teaching mode. And that's where you get somebody to the mastery level, where they're then truly giving back and developing other people, which is the next level. And that's where you have your organization really growing. So leaders, don't give up. When I was working with Sky, all I needed to do was to push her. Now, for her, it wouldn't have worked because she's not the type where if I just said, get in there and do it, she would have done it. For me, it worked because that was the style of leadership I needed from my friend. What I would have done with my daughter and needed to do was to coach her. I needed to be there and say, hey, Sky, listen, I know this is tough. And I know that sucked, that hurt, and that was scary. But I promise you, if you keep going, you're gonna figure this out, and you're gonna love it. So why don't we do this together? We're gonna go arm in arm. We're gonna start with really small waves. We're not gonna go deep, and let's just get you back into it so you start to feel a little bit more confident. Had I done that, I would have gotten her back in the water 2 years sooner than it took her, and then I would have gotten her to self-reliant achiever that much faster. I would have gotten her to capable and cautious performer, and then on the road to self-reliant achiever. And when she's at that point, that's where she's grabbing everybody else and saying, Dad, I don't need you in the water. I want to show my cousin, my friends, everybody else how to body surf because I'm so good at it and I love it and I want to teach other people how to do it. So leaders, pay attention. Take this episode, record it, or it's already recorded, play it back, learn it, try it, practice it. More importantly, reach out to me. I'm happy to go through this with you with real life leadership situations. It's the thing that's probably helped me develop more people than anything, is learning how to adapt your style of leadership. Okay, real quick summary. When somebody's a enthusiastic beginner, it's very directive. Hey, here's how you do it. It's very instructional, right? When they're a disillusioned learner, it becomes a little different style. It's kind of more like, it's a little bit selling. It's more coaching, right? It's still you helping them to make the decision, but you got to do it with them. Okay, you got to kind of push them along. Or some cases, like my friend, it was, kicking me in the butt. And then you get them up to that capable and cautious performer, and that's more supporting. That's more kind of helping them do even better, right? It's giving them little tips. Tell me how I can improve my posture a little bit to have a better water skiing experience. So it's telling my daughter how she can ride the wave like a few seconds longer or even a bigger wave. That's the type of leadership. How can you're doing good. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you do great. And then when they're at that self-reliant achiever, it's really just delegating. It's helping them identify their own opportunities to get better and give back to other people. And it's really just telling them and giving them direction on what they need to do. And then they're going to go and do it. They don't need the coaching and all that stuff or the direction. They just need, hey, tell me where to go. I know where to do it. I know how to do it. It's a whole new world and it's incredible. So I hope this helped. And a great topic. I'm going to continue this over a few episodes and talk about leadership versatility, which is a different element of this. We're going to go into some case examples and all kinds of cool stuff. So stay tuned for more on this. Again, please continue to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And please give reviews on the podcast itself. Of course, 5 stars is what I'm after. So thanks, everybody. Enjoy.